It was the year of the sea urchin, and the year that everything blew up. A lot were kidnapped by pirates, and others were killed by robots. The good news is, 2022 will top it. Let's dive into the best video games of 2022 that are on their way. Let's start with something that is at the top of the list because it's so extremely good. First up is Weird West, a game of hard choices in a world where death is at your heels and the devil's on your shoulder. The devil wears many faces. He might be a cutthroat gangster or a pious preacher. He might be your brother or he might be you. Torn between protecting his family and defending the defenseless, Jonah finds himself at odds with his own morality. Wounded by betrayal and loss, Jonah realizes that his decisions will have consequences that transcend this life. Weird West is an action role-playing video game set in an alternate universe Wild West era. This story will span several generations and include historical figures from the 1800s, such as Calamity Jane, Wyatt Earp, Jesse James, Buffalo Bill Cody, Sitting Bull, Geronimo, and Annie Oakley. Weird West utilizes hand-drawn graphics to create an immersive experience of this dark world and its inhabitants. Then we have Rainbow Six Extraction. Get ready for more heroic feats of daring do, more helmet-bursting melodrama, and more explicableness than you can shake a rifle at. Extraction is an asymmetrical multiplayer shooter game with one team of players playing as Rainbow counterterrorism operators tasked with rescuing a group of hostages from a terrorist cell, while the other team plays as the terrorists who try to stop them. The game takes place in the near future, where robots have become commonplace on the battlefield. The Rainbow team's goal is to retrieve the hostages before time runs out. The terrorist team's objective is to kill all Rainbow team members or prevent the hostages from escaping within the time limit. The game is played from a first-person perspective. Players can pick from over 30 different weapons and accessories to customize their loadout. The game also features environmental destruction, allowing players to break certain parts of the scenery and utilize it as cover or use it offensively against enemies. Up next, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Nintendo and Game Freak are working together to bring you a whole new action-adventure game starring the creator of all Pokemon, Arceus. In 2022, after a long battle with humanity, Arceus remains the last Pokemon time has turned back to 100 years earlier before humans ever existed. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a 2020 action role-playing game developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. It'll be released for the Wii U and will be the first Pokemon on a home console since Pokemon Coliseum for the Nintendo GameCube. It is the sixth mainstream installment in the Pokemon Legends series, being a sequel to Pokemon Legends Mewtwo's Awakening. Titled after Arceus, the creator deity of all Pokemon in the mythology of the Pokemon world, Pokemon Legends Arceus chronicles the journey of a young trainer named Blake as he sets out on a quest to learn more about Arceus while also dealing with Team Rocket, who's trying to take over Unova. The game features new gameplay mechanics such as Omega Evolution, which allows certain Pokemon to temporarily evolve into more powerful forms with access to different movesets and abilities. The game was originally planned for release in late 2019, but was delayed to 2022 due to development issues. Then we have Sifu. The long-awaited prequel to the smash hit Fight 'em Up series is out now. Sifu is a hybrid between a fighting game and a brawler, with more emphasis on melee combat than gunplay. The player controls the titular character as he uses hand-to-hand combat to fight his way through levels based on real-life locations in Hong Kong and China. Each level is divided into segments, some of which are played in single-screen rooms where players can explore and find items to upgrade their abilities, while others have players move through a semi-open environment where they must defeat groups of enemies while progressing to the next area. The player can also use firearms such as pistols and shotguns, which can be found throughout each level or purchased at shops, though they'll be limited by ammunition that must be found or bought. The game is set in a fictional modern-day China, following the actions of a young boy who's the son of a martial arts school Sifu. After his father is killed by one of his own students, the boy sets out to find who is responsible so he can take revenge against them. Throughout the story, the player character fights different enemies with various fighting styles that can be switched between at any time through an interface reminiscent of web browser tabs. These styles include Hung Gar, Wing Chun, and Xing Yi Quan. As the player progresses throughout the game, they learn new skills from their master, who communicates with them via chat room. Up next is Horizon Forbidden West. Step into a beautiful open world full of unfamiliar sights, sounds, and creatures. As you embark on this perilous journey across the Forbidden West, your skills and cunning will be tested beyond measure. Horizon Forbidden West is an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective. Players take the role of Aloy, a hunter who embarks on a quest to learn about her past as she explores a vibrant and lush world inhabited by mysterious mechanized creatures. The player can use ranged weapons such as bows and guns, and melee weapons like spears and bombs. It features an open-world environment for players to explore. Players can complete side quests away from the main story, known as tasks in this game. By discovering certain locations and relics, players will be able to piece together parts of the game's backstory. The game features 12 different tribes that inhabit the world, some of which are more hostile towards others. These tribes are divided into 3 categories: core, auxiliary, and independent. Auxiliary tribes will side with any other tribe if it'll benefit them in some way. Independent tribes do not side with other tribes unless they trade or work together for mutual benefit. Then we have Elden Ring. You've been summoned. A new world awaits. Go beyond the confines of your imagination and enter the new era of Elden Ring, where worlds collide and your destiny is finally finally decided. The game is set within a fictional world called Lotharic, in which players must travel the lands to confront the Lords of Cinder, returning them to their thrones in the Firelink Shrine at the game's center in order to link the flames once again. The player character is a warrior named as an Unkindled, who had been stripped of their embers and must explore the kingdom of Lotharic to reclaim them. The player character is fully customizable at the start of the game, allowing for different playstyles and strategies. There are 3 classes to choose from: Deprived, Knight, and Mercenary. The player can also choose their gender, appearance, and voice. Gameplay centers around exploring areas and defeating monsters. Players use melee weapons such as swords and axes, or ranged weapons such as bows to defeat enemies. Players can use magic in combat and special attacks called miracles. Items are used to restore health or cast spells when used. In addition to items, players can eat food they find on their journey. And now we have Total War Warhammer 3. Will you seize the day, or will you be crushed underfoot? Be ready to control the biggest, most impressive battle sequences ever seen in a Total War game. Plan your battles, then watch them unfold in real time. Set in the grim high fantasy world of Warhammer Fantasy, Total War Warhammer pits many unique races in a struggle to dominate the old world. Turn-based strategy and real-time tactics meet head-to-head. Other playable races include dwarves, vampires, and orcs. There are 4 campaigns in the game made up of the 4 playable races. In addition to this, each campaign has its own unique narrative and end goal. The player is given a selection of lords to choose from at the start of each campaign, each carrying their own specialties and attributes that can be built upon during gameplay. Next, nobody saves the world. It's gigantic, overwhelming, and impossible. It's so big that it makes you feel small, but at the same time, it's inescapable. Get ready to face your enemies head-on, because this game brings you maximum power, excitement, and competition. The player character, known only as the Nobody, is tasked with defeating a group of evil wizards known as the Order of No Quarter, and rescuing the Great Wizard. The player will be able to transform into different forms, each with their own unique abilities useful in different situations. For example, the Unicorn form allows the player to fly over obstacles and attack enemies from above, while the Bee form allows the players to explore small spaces inaccessible to other forms. These forms also allow players to access new areas and see events from different perspectives. Players can also use their abilities to solve puzzles or craft new items. The game features an open world that can be explored without restrictions. There are no levels in Nobody Saves the World. Instead, the player's stats increase by completing quests and defeating enemies. To accompany its resemblance to classic role-playing games, Nobody Saves the World features a chiptune soundtrack composed by Stemage. In addition, players can customize their wizards using various character models and clothing options. There you have it, our list of the best video games of 2022. Which video game do you think should have taken the top spot? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, subscribe to our channel to stay updated on new content.